Okay, this is ratio homework number 2. Number 1 says, which ratios are equivalent to 20/90ths? Circle all that apply. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. We can reduce 20/90ths, or I think an easier way is to use your calculator and turn them all into decimals. So I first need to figure out what 20 divided by 90 is. So 20 divided by 90 is 0.22222 repeating. So I'm going to put the bar over top of that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to check all the other fractions, and when I divide those, I'm going to see if they're also equal to that. So I'm going to do 25 divided by 95. Those are not equivalent. So I'm going to cross that one out. Then I'm going to do 80 divided by 360. That one is 0.22222 repeating, so I'm going to circle that. That one is equivalent. 6 divided by 72. Nope, that's not equivalent. I know this one's not going to be because it's an improper fraction, which means it's going to be over 2 or over 1. It's actually 4.5, so I know that one's not. And then 8 divided by 36 is also 0.2 repeating. So there's 2 of them that are equivalent to 20/90ths. All right, so take a look at number 2. Are the ratios for 14/35ths and 20/30ths equivalent? Show work to prove your answer. So that's pretty much what we did up here. You can either reduce them both to see if you get the same reduced fraction, or turn them both into decimals like we did up here. All right, so jump down to number 3. In a serving of mixed vegetables, there are 30 peas and 18 pieces of corn. Circle all the ratios that are equivalent to the ratio of peas to corn in a given serving. Okay, so they want the ratio of peas to corn. So if I set that up, I'm going to get 30 over 18. Okay, so none of those are the same as 30 over 18. So we could reduce that. We could reduce 30 and 18 by 6. That would give me 5/3. Still, none of those give me 5/3. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them into decimals. So on my calculator, I'm going to do 5 divided by 3, which is going to give me 1.6 repeating. So what you need to do is go through the different choices. Is 45 divided by 27? It is. So that one's going to be equivalent. So you guys need to go through and find out which other ones are equivalent to 1.6 repeating. All right, take a look at number 4. An internet, telephone, and cable TV package plan costs $85 a month. The internet part of the bill is $26. The telephone part is $16. Write the ratio of the internet bill to the cable bill. Okay, well, they told me the internet part is $26. And then it says they want the cable TV bill to be the bottom part. So the internet part is 26, the phone is 16. Well, they didn't give me the cable, so in order to find that out, I'm going to have to add these two together. 26 plus 16, that's what I know. That's $42. So what's left out of the 85 is going to be the cable part. So I'd have to subtract those two from the 85. So that tells me that $43 is what they have to pay for cable. Now they want you to make two equivalent fractions. You can do that by multiplying the top and the bottom by the same number. So if I did that, 26 times 2 would be 52. 43 times 2 would be 86. So I'll leave the next one for you. You could multiply by 3 or divide by a certain number to get another equivalent fraction. All right, take a look at number 5. The food stand at the fair sells small, medium, and large fruit drinks. The medium drink is 9 parts juice, 5 parts fruit, and 7 parts crushed ice. What's the ratio of juice? So the top part is going to be how much juice there is. The bottom part is going to be fruit and crushed ice together. Okay, so when I go back, it says it's 9 parts juice, and then the fruit and ice, we're going to have to add the fruit and ice together. So 5 plus 7 would be 12. Okay, so we're going to have to make two equivalent ratios to that. So I could divide by 3, and I could get 3/4 would be an equivalent fraction. Or I could have multiplied by 3 or 2 or whatever number I want to get another equivalent fraction. So I'll let you guys decide what you want to do for that. All right, flip it over. On the back, number 6, it says the bookstore employs 4 people. The ratio of women working in the store to the total number of workers is 3 to 4. What's this ratio as a fraction and as a decimal? Well, 3 to 4 is the same as 3 to 4 written as a fraction. And I can turn that into a decimal because it's the same as 3/4, which is 75 cents. And if you don't know that, just do 3 divided by 4 on your calculator. Now they want the ratio of men working in the store to the total number of workers. Well, if 3 of the workers are women out of 4, that means only 1 out of 4 is a man. So write this ratio as a fraction, and then we need to turn that into a decimal too. So 1/4 would be worth how much? You guys are going to write that on the line. All right, number 7. Last winter, the ratio of days with snow to the days with no snow was 1 to 12. Write this ratio as a fraction in simplest form. Well, remember, when a ratio is written horizontally, we can still change that into a fraction as just writing it up and down. So 1 to 12, written as a fraction, would be written like that. It says in simplest form. So that means to make sure you simplify or reduce, but it doesn't need to be. All right, take a look at number 8. A salesperson's ratio of successful signups to the number of people called is 125 thousandths. This month, the salesperson had 25 signups. How many people did the salesperson call this month? Okay. So they said the ratio was successful signups. So this is how many people signed up, and this is how many they called. So if I were to turn this into a fraction, it would be 125 thousandths. So for every 1,000 people called, they want to know, well, it would be 125 people that actually signed up. So how many people did the salesperson call this month? So if they have 25 signups, that would be up on the top. We're looking for how many people did they call. Okay, so in order to figure that out, we'd have to go from 125 to 25. So in order to get there, I would say, well, what could I divide 125 by? Well, 125 divided by 5 is 25. So to go from here to here, I'm going to divide by 5. So I need to do that same scale factor here, divide by 5. So what's 1,000 divided by 5? That would be 200. So when they say how many people did they call, well, called is what's on the bottom. So we would say the salesperson called 200 people. Okay, that's sort of like the baseball one we did in class. All right, number 9. In a recent student government election, the ratio of students who voted for the winner to all the students who voted was 64 hundredths. So again, I'm going to write that down. Here's how many voted for winner out of the total voters. And we know 64 hundredths as a decimal is written like this as a fraction. Okay, so they said the number of students who voted was 125. Well, so that means the total voters was 125. So how many would have voted for the winner? Well, to go from 100 to 125, there's not something easy I can multiply or divide by. So first I'm going to see if I can reduce this fraction, 64 over 100. So I know they're both even, so I could divide by 2. That would give me 32 fiftieths. So then if I look some more, I could say, well, 4 goes into that. And let's see, 8 goes into that, but 4 and 8 don't go into 50. But we could multiply possibly by a decimal too. I'm going to divide this one more time because I know they're both even. So 16, if I divide by 2, divide by 2, I'm going to get 16 over 25. And I say, okay, well, I could multiply 25 by something to get to 125. So I'm going to set this fraction over here. 16 over 25 is what I have reduced. So then I say, well, 25 times 5 would get me the 125. So I've got to do that same operation on top here, times 5. And if you don't know what that's equal to, we're going to do 16 times 5. And that's going to give me 80. So that means the winner got 80 votes. All right. Okay, last one. In the workbench drawer, the ratio of hex bolts to all bolts is 14 hundredths. So if I turn that into a fraction, it would look like this, 14 hundredths. And then they just ask you to put it in simplest form. So you're just going to reduce that fraction to get the simplest reduced form.